Yes, I've just changed it. I've just seen it. There's a weird issue with that. Anyway, we should now have sound. Apologies to that, to everyone about that. Right, so hopefully now we're all live and everyone can hear everything. Hopefully you've been enjoying the casual visuals then. Alright, then we should now have the chat pop up. If I had the chat pop up working properly, would have at least be seeing this on screen, but we didn't, so sorry about that. Right, so Dirk Ace, welcome Dirk Ace, another new driver. So we have Salvatore Pistori in the comments. Good to have you watching and supporting the fellow Pistori brothers. And Sumire as well. Hello Sumire. And Surfside Straganov. And let's go Rudy. Right, so hopefully everyone can hear me clearly now. If not, please keep commenting that you can't. If you can, please let me know. Alright, let's see. Currently at the moment we have Nicola Pistori in provisional pole position with 4 minutes to go. All good, great to hear that, thank you very much. Alright, Rian van der Westhuizen currently in 5th place. Looks like he might have just run a little bit deep there. I think in front of him that was Monet Deploy, who is now on track. Good to have Monet back with us again. All good now, thank you Sumire. So the Cool Runnings BMW has returned, good to see it back on track. Yeah, one driver down, but at least with the series now being solo, we can at least have Monet joining us. And in front of us we have Alex in the Audi, the sole running Audi at the moment. Like it, Cool Runnings livery, looks awesome. And Monet got it a bit loose out of the final turn. You also see all the tyre allocations, so most of the drivers opting to drive on the soft tyres. Some of the drivers actually on the medium tyres. Monet, who's on the screen at the moment, is actually on the medium tyre, as is Andre Hildebrandt. Good afternoon, Salvatore. So on track at the moment, we have several drivers on good laps, or certainly on personal bests. Julian Brand's on a personal best at the moment. Not sure how many more drivers will be able to join with only 2.5 minutes left to go. Waiting on some drivers. Right, I know one driver is trying to join at the moment but having issues. Hopefully he'll be in soon. So let's just, sorry, I'm trying to read too many messages, see all the problems going on in the background. Let's have a look at Alex. We haven't seen much of Alex in this. The lone running Audi at the moment, currently in 8th position. He was personal best in the first sector, slightly slower in the middle sector. Let's see if he can improve his overall position from 8th to... He did improve his time slightly and jumps up to 6th place, so nice improvement there. So at the moment it looks like a Shibber top 3. We have Nicola Pistori currently in provisional pole position with a minute to go and in the pit, so he won't be improving. We have Giuseppe about to start a lap. Can he steal pole position? We know he was held up slightly in his last lap, so he potentially can improve. And then we have Lorenzo in 3rd place. see how the car is compressing the little bumps, compacting quite a lot there. Sorry if my voice is a little bit off. I've been sick the last couple of days, so still haven't recovered thoroughly. Alright, it looks like Giuseppe is going to unfortunately catch traffic again, which abandons his lap, so maybe that didn't hold him up too much. Let's see how his sector unfolds. Maybe he was lucky enough there. Yes, he's fastest overall in the first sector by 0.045. So driving on the ragged limits, you can see how the car is moving around. The official time has run out, so drivers on a lap now can still finish their lap. We're going to stick with Giuseppe because he is on for pole position, so let's see if he can bring it home. Personal best in the middle sector, but he's only down by 0.003, so the final sector is where we know he got held up. So let's see what kind of improvement he can do. He was 0.2 off pole position. I think he can. I think he was probably held up by maybe 0.3 or so in the final sector. So let's see if he can get a perfect final sector and snatch pole position. He might be the first driver to stick it into the 158s. Alright, let's see. Keep it nice and tight. He does. Hits the bump, gets the rotation on the bump, gets good traction after the bump. So those are all the key factors for the final turn, and he comes home with a 58.996. Takes pole position. Well done, Giuseppe. And Stanton Augustus rounds the final turn and goes into the pits. And Monet also comes around, finishing the lap. Alright, I think that's about it for qualifying. We're going to jump to a quick ad break while we set the grid. We'll be back probably in a minute or two, maybe 5, and we'll see you then. All right, welcome back everybody. Sorry for the long delay there. Unfortunately, some drivers had a bit of issues, so we just made sure everyone could join before we went live. So, welcome. This is, of course, the Sim Experience SA 2024 Endurance Series. This is round 4 coming to you live from the SEBRING International Raceway in Florida, United States. And the driver we were on just happened to click to the pits there. Sorry for that. Alright, so this is round 1 from the SEBRING circuit. It is live weather, so the weather you see is the current weather in Florida in the United States, which is where the SEBRING International Circuit is. It's an ex-airfield that was converted into a race circuit, as is many of the historic race circuits. It's quite a long circuit, 6 kilometers or 3.7 miles, and the race is 2.5 hours or 150 minutes. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell, and might be joined by Xavier Odendaal. Xavier is here. I know he's quite busy, but Xavier, if you're there, you can say hello to everyone.
Hello everyone, hello. Yeah, Dennis, I'm excited for a good race here. Unfortunately, as I said, I'm struggling a bit to flip the pans and to race. Round 4 today at Sebring. We've obviously got the Nordschleife and Daytona coming up next, which should be a lot of fun with Spa, Road America, and Monza already behind us. But yeah, Dennis, best of luck. I hope I can catch you a bit later as we look at the standings.
Right, so thank you very much. This is the point system. So for P1, it'll be 25 points all the way down to P10, which is a solitary 1 point. 1 point for pole position, which went to Giuseppe, and 1 point for fastest lap. I have to wait and see who gets that extra point. As the drivers now head out, this is a rolling start. So the drivers are now on their formation lap. It is a manual, so the server is actually set to a standing start. This way we just avoid some issues. So our leader will now be controlling the pack. He will drive between 100 and 120 k's an hour, roughly. As you can see, the top 3 drivers are the Shibba drivers. Nice to see 3 Shibba cars, 1, 2, 3. Well, nice for them, I'm sure not nice for everyone else. And our standings for the championship coming into this round, we have Team Shibba 1 on 57 points, Team Shibba 2, 37 points, NXT Sim Racing, who are not here today, on 35 points, Full Throttle on 30 points, NXT Sim Racing 2 on 30 points, Team Iris Grip Level, who are also not here today, on 26 points, Sim Experience Global 1 on 22 points, RR Racing, who are also not here today, on 20 points, Sim Experience Global 3 on 18 points, and the rest of the teams have 0 points currently. Right, as all the drivers slowly make their way around. Let's catch up all the drivers. You have some drivers making a return to the series, like Monet Duploy. Welcome back, Monet. Some drivers that are new to the series. So we have the two Pistori brothers. They have been here before, so welcome to them. We have Lorenzo who's been here before, Stanton's been here before, Luciano's been here before. Alex, I believe, is... I think, did Alex race in a previous race? He might have, I can't remember, but if not, welcome Alex. Alex is our only driver driving in the Audi at the moment, the Audi R8. We have Julian Brains back once again. We have Rian van der Westhuizen, who has joined us. He hasn't driven with us at all in this series, so welcome to Rian. I'm glad to have him here. We have Hilton Nickerson driving in the only McLaren 720S. It was a very last minute sign-up, so unfortunately there's no livery for him. It's just a plain orange car with a number plate on it. We will have a livery design for the next round, and the number plate's kind of hidden by the flare on the side of the car. We also have Dirk Ace joining us, so welcome to Dirk in a Porsche 911. We have Harvey Ghost joining us, who to South Africans is a very well-known name. He's a very famous real South African driver. Real world South African driver, I should say. The most successful Formula V driver in South African history. We also have Rudy Graham joining us, so welcome to Rudy. And we have Andre Hildebrandt, who has joined us again. Unfortunately did miss a round or two. And we have Gerrit Bierkes, who was a last minute join, unfortunately done lots of practice during the week, but joined the server very late due to some issues on his side, but glad to have him in the race. So he'll be fighting his way through the field from the back of the pack. All right, so let's go to the front of the pack. We have Giuseppe leading the pack. He will dictate the pace. Coming out of the final turn, the drivers will get into side-by-side formation, and once they get to the line, they can start racing. So we have Giuseppe from Niccolo, the two Pastori brothers in front. As we will now wait for them to get to the line. Giuseppe can dictate the pace. All the drivers driving nicely in formation at the moment. Alright, as we wait for them to get up to the line, there is the checkered line. Alright, so now they will all be ready to go. It is green, green, green. Looks like it is all pretty much stationary into P1. No changes that I can see. I think Rian might have lost a position to the Audi of Alex there. I actually do see a NXT car in the field. That's Luciano. I didn't realize that Luciano actually is NXT. I was thinking he's a sugar driver, but yes, he's NXT. So good to have at least one of the NXT drivers here. Perhaps now we can get all our timings and stuff up as well. So we don't have any of those up at the moment. Let's get that up. We can see exactly who we are watching. Right, so Luciano is NXT Sim Racing 1. So good to have them in the field. Trying to keep up with all the gaps. There's quite a few cars in the field today. Nice to see a slightly increased field. Fortunately, a lot of the drivers weren't able to make it today, so we were hoping to have mid-20s, 24, 25 drivers, but quite a few that just weren't able to make it. So looks like the next round will definitely be a jam-packed round. We do have some extra drivers confirmed for the next round. Right, so Monet chasing down. Is that Julian Brains in front of me? Yes, it is. Right, let me just get all the cameras and things ready on my side. Looks like Julian's just ever so slightly easing away from Monet, who looked like he was starting to challenge, but maybe Monet was just slowly warming up. See a new fastest lap time for Pastori. Which Pastori was it? It was Giuseppe Pastori, 2:04.030. Looks like Rian is having a nice close battle at the moment with the Audi. Two of them getting nice and close to each other. So we can go on board. Let's have a look forward from Rian and look back from Alex. And get a bit of data from them and see what's happening at the moment. But it looks like Rian was challenging for a bit there, but now Alex seems to have, certainly in this part of the track, pulled a bit of a gap. Rian catches slightly on the brakes, but then loses on the exit. So fast in, but slow out. All the way down the straight, he's lost all that momentum now. And Rian looks like he's now being challenged from behind. That's Julian Brains, that's now right behind Rian, 4/10 behind. I'm getting on the dirt there. Right, so Rian now under threat. The hunter has become the hunted. So Julian taking a wider entry in, it means you can turn in a bit tighter and maybe get a slightly better drive out. He was a bit too wide on the entry, I think. You see another new fastest lap over 2 minutes dead, 4:59. Ooh, ran a bit wide there. Ooh, as is Julian as well. Brings it back, manages to avoid any incidents there, but I think did lose quite a bit of time. In fact, now he's going to be under threat from Monet Deploy, who's behind, just watching all the action unfold in front of him. Right, so how are the new drivers doing? So at the moment we have Alex, as we know, is currently in 6th place, doing very well. Putting a gap now on Rian van der Westhuizen, and it's just gone over 2 seconds, so good to see that gap is extending slightly from his point of view. We have Dirk currently in 11th place, doing quite well. He has Hilton right behind him, so Hilton, ooh, we have a yellow flag, I'm not sure who that would be for. I believe it is Rian that has possibly gone off somewhere. And we also have Harvey Khoos. And right behind Harvey Khoos we have Rudy Graham. So Gerrit Beekers, where is Gerrit? Gerrit has worked his way up to 9th place at the moment. I haven't really been keeping an eye on this like I wanted to. Also having started from last place, not getting a lap in qualifying. Up to 9th place at the moment. I'm sure his lap times will start to drop drastically. Now there's the final turn. Right, so how's everything looking in front? We currently have Giuseppe, who does not have the fastest lap anymore. In fact, it's his brother Nicola that has the fastest lap directly behind him. He's now done a 2-minute 0.00458. So 1,000th of a second faster than what his brother's done. 2.00459 and a 2.00458. The two brothers are pretty close. We then have Lorenzo still in 3rd place. So Team Shiba 1, 2 and 3. In 4th place we currently have Stanton Augustus with a Sim Experience Global team, Sim Experience Global 1. We have Luciano for NXT Sim Racing, they're in position 5 at the moment. Looks like a bit of cloud cover at the moment, things are looking a bit different lighting wise. It looks like the sun has sort of come out from behind the clouds. I don't think there's any rain forecast for this race. I know there was rain yesterday in Florida. As far as I know, there's none forecast for today. Alex in 6th place. Monet in 7th place. Gerrit is now up to 8th place, so Gerrit's made up another place. So Gerrit is slowly building up his pace. Yes, a Team Shiba train 1, 2, 3 for sure. And they're running pretty close together as well, so they could almost be linked to each other. So we see a change of position. I think it was Rian that's just got past Hilton at the moment. Hilton is coming to the pits, as has Julian Brains. Right, so Julian and Hilton both into the pits. And Julian getting his pit stop a little bit wrong there. The track is definitely looking a bit darker, so I'm not sure if there's any rain forecast, but it's certainly looking... I know the forecast was overcast with no rain, but it does look very dark at the moment. like to just have a quick look at the weather in the background, just see what is happening with the weather. This weather is quite fascinating at the moment. So currently the weather, it is a track temperature of 46, ambient of 29, so it is still quite warm, but definitely very overcast. The humidity level is probably quite high at the moment with all the extra cloud cover, so maybe there will be a bit of rain later, but I'm sure if there is, it'll be very light. I'm sure for the drivers involved, they don't want any rain. Alright, so just looking through the field, I think the closest gap at the moment would probably be, let's see here. I would assume it will be Andre Hildebrand's currently chasing down Harvey Hoos. Oops. Everyone's a bit wide into the final turn. And actually manages to get a bit of a gap. I think Andre maybe took slightly too much avoiding action there. Eased off a bit too much. He lost his advantage. But closing in again. Getting right behind Harvey at the moment. Looks like a little bit of damage in the front left of Andre's car. Some of these drivers have actually raced here before in the past for various other series. It was a slightly different run series back then, but it was still the rFactor GT3 series. It wasn't an endurance series, it was more of a sprint race type series. I think those races were only an hour long. So we have one DNF. So Hilton unfortunately getting a DNF. I'm not sure what that was for. We did see him in the pits. Maybe something happened in the pits. Maybe he's had a mechanical issue. But we have our first retirement with 2 hours and 16 minutes left to go. It's a long race. The guys need to pace themselves. It's not all about sprint racing and just racing the guys as hard as you can. As we see Andre finally getting alongside Harvey, I'm sure he'll be passed into the final turn. He's already passed. Looked like the Porsche got a very loose and sideways over the bumps there. And as a result, we got Harvey coming back at him here. Harvey going very wide into the final turn, but then screwing it off, getting good drive, managing to get back by. They're sort of having a sprint race here. I think they didn't realize there's still 2 hours and 15 minutes to go. Right, so how's it going up in the rest of the track? It looks like it's spreading out a little bit apart from the front runners. The first and second are still covered only by 0.7 of a second. So they are running still bumper to bumper. Third place has fallen back slightly now, 3.7 seconds back from second. Fourth place now 5.7 seconds back from third place. So the gaps are growing ever so slightly. Gerrit Berkus is still in 8th place. He hasn't managed to gain any more places yet. I think the lap times have kind of neutralized now. We have another DNF. Unfortunately, Rudy Graham has had a DNF. So 2 drivers down already. Driver in 9th place at the moment, Dirk Ace. With lots and lots of laps in. I think also fairly new to the sim. We've encouraged a few more guys to come join, and he's put a lot of laps in and starting to get his footing in here, so hopefully he has a decent result. For the guys that are new to watching, thank you for watching, and if you're enjoying it, remember to hit the like and subscribe button. If you want to get involved, you can hit the Discord link in the description. Come join us on Discord. We're also on simgrid.com. You can search for simexperience.sa. There's the community there, and then you can sign up for the various events. We have this series, we have an ACC GT3 Sprint Series, which is more of a 1 hour type race with pit stops, mandatory pit stops. So you can sign up to that on the simgrid.com as well. You can also join us for the Discord for all that. We'll also be hosting a few more series in the near future in ACC, so see Dirk running slightly wide there. So if you'd like to join us, just head over to Discord's probably the easiest place to find all the information, and the SimGrid is where you do all your sign-ups. So Julian Brains we saw in the pits earlier. I'm not sure if he went for a full pit stop. We now have Rian van der Westhuizen in the pits. Rian's now in the pits. So Julian, I think, might have decided to go for an early pit stop. Maybe his first strategy was change tires early, have a decent start with maybe less fuel, then go heavy. I'm just thinking that might be what he's trying. Oh, he's going to hit the wall. That was close. Did he hit the wall? I don't think he did, but it looked very, very close. He got that all wrong. So Monet Deployer now are currently 2 seconds behind Alex at the moment. So can he catch Alex? Lap time wise, on the previous lap he was 204.8, Alex was at 207, so Alex had a really bad lap the last lap, and that's why the gap has come down. So what has happened to Alex? Looking at some of the drivers, Dirk is actually on the soft tyre. Quite strange to see drivers choosing the soft tyre, but maybe once again going soft at the start, changing to hard later on in the race. So Alex for Vortex Motorsport still hanging in there in 6th place. Maybe just made a small mistake. We see another yellow flag. Who would that be for? It has gone away, so maybe someone just ran off track briefly. Right, so let's perhaps do an onboard with Alex. I'll try to talk you through a lap of the track. I don't know it very well, so I'm going to use a track map that I have here. So final turn was Sunset Pen, so coming out of Sunset it's into 1, which doesn't have a name from what I can see. It is just 1. Right, as you go through 1 is very tight, you've got to keep it close to the wall. You could have definitely come closer to the wall there. This slight kink there, that is 2. In America that's a corner. Then it's into 3, no name. Then it's into 4, also no name. Then into 5 is the left, also no name. Then 6 is the sweeping right, which they call Big Bend. And they go under the gantry or bridge. And then the tight hairpin at the bottom is named Hairpin. Right, so into Hairpin. I believe that's the tightest corner on the circuit. Then it's the sweeping right, which we are now in, which is turn 8, which is Fangio. And it sweeps left, which is 9, which has no name. And it's a 90-degree right, which is 10, also once again no name. Hi, John. Right, and then it's through 12, and then no name, then 13, which they call tower. Into tower, and then it's a long straight. It's a couple of sweeping corners, which will start off with turn 14. That is Bishop. And then it will be into 15, which is Lamar, and 16. And then it's the long straight, which is called the Ullman Straight. And that would bring you into the final turn, which is Sunset Bend. Oh dear. Alright, so that explains what happened to Hilton. Hilton blew his engine in the last corner. So let me just get our screens all live and active here again. I believe there's some action going on here. I think the leaders have already got past these two drivers that are fighting, Javi and Andre. Fourth place coming up to lap them. Drivers have been instructed that when passing you need to, the driver doing the pass needs to make the pass on the inside, off the line. Well, the inside, the driver being passed needs to just roll off in the braking zone and allow the guy past. What is the VB or VD? Van der Westhuizen is VD. Is that who you're referring to? The B is sometimes who we call Bumblebee. That would be a Gerrit. Although in this series he's actually not driving a Bumblebee, he's driving a grey and orange car, where he's usually in a yellow and black car. Rian van der Westhuizen is currently, he's retired. Actually didn't even see that happen. Not sure what happened to Rian, but Rian has retired as well, so that's yet another retirement. So 2 hours, 6 minutes to go, and we already have 3 retirements. Right, so Julian currently still hanging there in 12th place, just doing his own thing, which is what you need to do, just bring the car home. Ideally you want to do it as fast as possible, but the main thing is to bring it home. Alright, so Luciano coming up to lap Harvey at the moment. Oh, not sure what happened there. Looked almost like Harvey's rear and locked up there. Alright, so then Alex is next. So we still see Dirk Ace currently on the soft ice. He hasn't pitted yet. So almost half an hour stint done on the soft tire. That's quite impressive. I wasn't sure that the soft tires would actually last that long. Most of the drivers are, I would assume, going to go for mediums and hards. Maybe go medium, and then the final stint just do a soft run at the end. So the gap at the front has grown ever so slightly. It is now 1.4 seconds between first and second, 1 second between second and third. So Lorenzo has actually caught up ever so slightly to Giuseppe. So Giuseppe has lost out to Nicola, so I think they've swapped places somewhere, and that slowed each other up. I'll see if I can find when that pass actually happened. Right, I believe it was on lap 11. Let's have a look at the replay. I believe it was Giuseppe. Oh, it looks like we do have a bit of rain. Right, so we're going to see what happened with Giuseppe. He was coming through the back markers, and I think maybe an issue with timing of Harvey Coast, perhaps. Oh yes, bad luck there, getting held up by Harvey just the wrong time that he caught up to Harvey there. It's just the luck of the draw. Alright, so that's what happened, unfortunately, for Giuseppe. That's how he lost the lead. Extremely close at the moment. Now we know how it happened. Right, so we have a bit of rain in the race, so this is going to spice things up a bit. I wasn't expecting it to rain much, if at all, but it looks like there is a little bit. It is very dark though. So, Nicola out in front. Of the Pastori brothers, who would be the better driver in the wet? That could be interesting. Tires tend to hold up quite well until the track is really, really saturated. So you don't need to pit for tires just because there's a little bit of a sprinkle of water. That shouldn't be a problem. Yes, I'm not sure where the blue flags are. I'm actually not seeing any of the blue flags on stream. Well, I haven't been looking, to be honest, but maybe they are because the walls are quite far away. Maybe they are struggling to see them a bit. But you should be seeing it, I think, in your overlay. You do see it as well. Drift there by Lorenzo coming into the turn, gets nice and sideways and just stays off the wall. Nice exit there. So the only driver to have done a pit stop so far is Julian Brains, according to our overlay there, which we did see quite early on, so I'm not sure if that was a strategic change. I would assume it was. Track's starting to get a bit wetter, a little bit more drizzle, although it seems like it might have actually stopped. So maybe that's all the rain for the race. Just the slightest sprinkle of rain. this battle for my mic a bit soft. I can improve the mic. Is that a bit better? I think I also might be talking a bit softer today with my voice not having recovered properly. Right, as we have Giuseppe Pistori being chased down by Lorenzo de Ziquitas. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too much. A little bit more. Is that better? Hopefully that's better. Right, as they head into the final turn, which is sunset, keep it nice and tight. Let's see how close. Does Giuseppe lose a bit more drive? No, he seems to actually extend the gap slightly out of the final turn into one. Let's see if Lorenzo's better on the brakes. He catches ever so slightly. Now, one is not really a hard braking zone. You do brake to get the nose to basically lean on the outside tire, get the car to turn and start feathering the throttle a bit. Bridge, head down to hairpin. Trips cool drinking watching the race. That sounds like a good idea. Right, so this battle is brewing for second place. This is allowing Nicola to actually pull away slightly. He's got a 2.4 second gap at the moment. This is the battle for second place. Looks like Giuseppe's maybe starting to struggle ever so slightly with his tyres. He's just running slightly wide, missing the apex on one or two corners. He's on the medium tyre, but so is Lorenzo as far as I remember seeing. The top three drivers are all on the medium tyre. Maybe Lorenzo is just a little bit lighter on his tyre. Once again, Giuseppe struggling, this time on the exit. Didn't lose too much drive though, although the gap is ever so slightly coming down. Right, Luciano will now. He's taking a slightly wide line, he's doing the cutback, get on the power a bit earlier. Let's see if that works. Giuseppe, I think, also being a bit defensive at the moment. It's nice and close to the wall still, so he turned in alright, didn't have a problem. Very cautious on the exit, which might point to him being a bit cautious with his tyres. He's still throwing it left to right fairly aggressively, so there's obviously enough grip to be able to be fairly aggressive with the car. The gap is sort of ever so slightly coming down, but just not enough. So where is Nicola compared to them? Nicola is almost the length of the straight ahead of them there. The two of them fighting it out nicely at the moment. They are the closest battle on circuit at the moment. I believe the next closest battle is Monet, Deploy and Gerrit Beekers. Gerrit has actually got past Monet now. So Gerrit will now be chasing down Alex. Gerrit's lap times a bit faster on the last lap, but overall I think he's on average about 8/10 faster than Alex, so he should slowly catch him. Right, as they're coming up to Andre Hildebrand now. So still a long way to go for the drivers, 1 hour 54 minutes, just under 1 hour 55 minutes. Gerrit getting past Andre quite nicely there, as will Monet. Hello Andrea. Thank you for watching. The team, what was it? Forza Sheba. Oh, I thought it was Sheba. Okay, I'm not sure if it was a spelling mistake, if it is Sheba or Sheba, but we have lots of Team Sheba cars, so I just assume that. Alright, so Carrots. How is Carrots Times doing? His best time so far a 2:02.8. Last lap was a 2:04.7, obviously while trying to get past. We'll see how his lap time compares at the end of this lap. Perhaps we can go on board with the lap. Also, not quite taking the ideal line. Or maybe that's just with the tyre wear, that's what works. I'm going to take a quick breather and get something to wet my throat. I'll be back shortly. Right, hi guys, I'm back. Sorry, I just had to wet my throat a bit. Oh, track is definitely looking a lot darker now, a lot more cloud. This battle is brewing still. Extremely close at the moment, down to 3/10. At one point it looked like Giuseppe was actually starting to pull away ever so slightly from Lorenzo, but now Lorenzo's on the attack again. Fighting a bit of a snap oversteer moment there. Right, coming under the bridge as you go through the change of tarmac with the brakes. Avoid the sausage curb on the inside there. Right, so let's do a current position check at the moment. Let's see if we can get this correct. Alright, mid-race results. I've never really done this very often, but let's try this. So currently we have Nicola Pistori in first place, Giuseppe Pistori in second place. In third place, Lorenzo de Sturtis. Sorry, the pronunciation. Stanton Augustus in fourth place, Luciano Icciardo in fifth place, Alex Gaidicki in sixth place. I'm really not very good at these foreign names, sorry about that. Gerrit Bierkes in seventh place, Monet Deploy in eighth place, Andre Hildebrand in ninth place, Harvey Host currently in 10th place. 11th place, Dirk Ace. Julian Brains in 12th place. Rian van der Westhuizen 13th. Rudy Graham 14th. And Hilton Nixon in 15th.
Hello, Mr. Dennis.
Hi, welcome back, Xavier.
I did send you a message and saying, you know, you can introduce me whenever you want. But I didn't get an introduction, so I thought I'd chip in.
Hi there. Well, I haven't had a chance yet to read my messages, but welcome to Xavier Undal.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it very much. I've put the food in the oven now, so you know it's time that we can tell a bit. But yeah, what a race so far. Unfortunate with the free DNF, Dennis, but I mean, you know, overall we've had a decent race. The two best stories looks like they are each other's tails. I don't think there's going to be much between them anywhere in the race. Maybe just in the pit stops. But no, I mean, you know, for them up top, just absolutely securing it. Very interesting, Dennis. This is obviously something, you know, I do want to ask you about. The top 4 cars at the moment are all 4 BMWs, or the top 5, sorry. But why is that? Is the BMW just incredibly good? Is this like kind of a BOP thing, or why exactly is the BMW kind of the car of choice?
I don't think it's the car that's it is a very popular car. I think that's one of the things. We have Gerrit Bierkes, who's down in 7th place. He's in the Aston Martin. He's usually up there at the front, but he didn't qualify. He unfortunately had issues, joined late, so started last. So he's worked his way up to 7th, but he's obviously slowly pacing himself. So we know he can be faster, and that's obviously a non-BMW, as you see a bit of rain coming down again. We also do have some of the other faster guys that are in different cars that aren't here tonight, that were in the Astons. The Team Iris drivers, they're not here. So unfortunately, the challenge that comes from the non-BMW drivers aren't here at the moment.
Okay, yeah, so a few people obviously are unfortunately not here, but still, it's still a lot of fun, isn't it? I do have to say, rFactor 2, way different, you know, than what I'm used to. And look at this! Oh, and we've got one left there at the left-hand side. I'm not quite sure who that was, but we did just see someone go off. I hope they didn't end up in the barriers. That said, I mean, these two are fighting, aren't they, Dennis? You know, you would expect that they just kind of keep calm and just kind of continue, you know, running and just sticking in front of the field. But the two stories, they're fighting. You know, we can see the attack and the defensive lines from both of them. Interesting to me that they're fighting. Do you think they're having a bit of fun, or do you think they're properly wanting to start scrapping?
I think this is proper scrapping. They don't really have much to. I mean, I don't think the team doesn't really matter which car gets it, because they're both Team Shibber, but I think the one is Team Shibber 1, the one is Team Shibber 2. So if I were to click on Lorenzo, that's in P3, he's Team Shibber 1. Giuseppe is Team Shibber 2, and Nicola is Team Shibber 1. So we got Shibber 1 in front, Shibber 2 in second. So the Pistori brothers are in separate teams.
And so they will be fighting out separately for points.
Yes.
I assume that is.
This is a very interesting battle going on between these drivers here.
It's incredibly interesting. Absolutely incredibly interesting. Okay. So hour and 40 minutes left here, Dennis. Hour and 40 minutes. Obviously, in a whole race was 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So it's about almost an hour off now. Obviously, you know, in these endurance races, anything can happen, especially, you know, if you get that rain falling. Question to you, Mr. Dennis, I do have to ask. If you had to pick one of the Pistori brothers to win, if you had to pick one, you know, out of the two, are you picking the person who's been leading? Are you picking the person who's trying to get into that P1 spot? What's your preference?
I think my number one pick would probably be Giuseppe. I just think he just had that little bit of an edge. He just had a bit of bad luck at the start. Well, not really at the start. I think it was when they were lapping the first round of traffic. I think he just caught out. He got up to Harvey Coast just at the wrong point going into a turn. And Harvey had to stay on the line. He just had to sort of avoid. And unfortunately for him, Nicola happened to see that. Obviously being one place back, it predicted a bit easier. Went up the inside and took advantage of it.
To be fair, to be able to take you have to take advantage of it as we go on board here with Lorenzo, I believe this is. Lorenzo also part of Team Shibber 1. And I mentioned earlier that there are separate teams, Dennis. I mean, that surprises me. I would think that the two brothers would want to be in the same team, race together, but no, they want to compete against each other. Do you think, Dennis, for a bit of comedy that we do have to throw in here, do you think the two SEBRINGs are next to each other and they're kind of like trash talking each other while driving?
I wonder. Maybe they got a short line, phone line to each other as well, if they aren't.
Oh, you had a horrible apex there. Oh, your car is so slow on the straights. Braking slowly, why? No, it's always interesting to see, close friends and family race together. I know in another series that I'm involved in, as we head into the pits here, a bit close to on pit entry, but very close to on pit entry, but we are into the pits, and these are for both brothers, I think, for both the Pastor brothers, into the pits at 80 km an hour. We'll stop in their boxes. We can't see the animation, or we can actually, you can actually see the animation. They get lifted up, and their tires will be changed around. Go to Stanton August now, and he is just cruising in 5th position. He's got his close competition 105 seconds behind, so I'm sure Stanton not under too much pressure, and just wanting to get this race finished.
That means he's already had his pit stop, so then I would assume that Luciano now, okay, he's diving into the pits as well. If he didn't, he would have inherited the lead briefly. As it looks like all the drivers are now driving into the pits. I guess it's the time of the race where the fuel starts to run out. The cars are also all BOP'd. Their fuel tanks are affected by the BOP, so some of them have shorter stints on the fuel depending. So the cars that guzzle a bit more fuel might have a slightly bigger tank, that kind of thing. So that is all part and part of the BOP. It's not just a horsepower BOP. So we'll see how that also affects the fuel strategies. The Audi might run a bit longer. I think it does have a slightly larger tank, if I remember correctly. So we'll see. He might be able to make up a bit of time as the race progresses. I think overall the car in a race distance will be quite competitive. We'll just have to see as it all plays out. Unfortunately, the Pastori brothers are just the Pastori brothers, and they are very quick. Interestingly enough, though, Stanton Augustus has inherited the lead by 1.3 seconds.
He has, but has he done his pit stop? That's the question.
Well, according to that graphic that's on the screen now, it's showing he has, yes.
So Stanton Augustus going maybe for some sort of undercut, some sort of major sort of undercut, and getting past the two Pastori brothers. That said as well, I do not say that name, our P3, the Citas, getting in between the Pastori brothers, Dennis. I don't know whether it's undercut, I don't know whether they're on the wrong tires, but something's happened here. The Pastori brothers aren't running away with this anymore. Yeah,
Giuseppe's lost out once again, so he's gone from 1st place all the way down to 4th place now.
And I can't think he's going to be very happy with that. A very good situation, because they were leading this race pretty comfortably, but now seemingly getting undercutted. All top 5, as you can see on the hards, and we go to P6 for first medium runner. But I mean, this is a very interesting situation, isn't it, Dennis? Seeing that suddenly these two Giuseppe brothers have apparently, as we see a snap there from sorry, not Giuseppe brothers, Pastori brothers. I realized my mistake. As we see them now chasing down Nicola, going and chasing down Augustus. Very interesting, Dennis. I have a question for you. On this. If you look at P11 and P12, you'll see the hard and the medium, and the soft compound. But when you look at the rest of the field, you'll only see the hard. Does that mean their pit stop was only a splash and dash? Did they not do fuel? Did they not do tires? What exactly is the situation there?
It could be a strategy call. It could be a weather call. With the rain coming, maybe they've opted to go for different tires because they're expecting it to rain again. So maybe there's, put softer tires on now, be aggressive, wait for the rain to come, then you put the wets on. Maybe they're expecting that it just will get wetter. I don't know. Maybe it's just some kind of strategy call.
I guess we will have to see. 4 temps, 5 temps now, an hour in, and there's 5 or 6 temps between Augustus and Pastori. Pastori did get past there. Augustus now trailing. I didn't see the pass. Did we miss the pass, or was I just not looking?
I did miss it. I will get it quickly for us, and we can get it shortly. I was unfortunately watching the other stuff there in the background.
Not quite sure if we caught that, but Augustus, unfortunately, and now he is trailing behind the Pastori brothers, and that is not going to be very fun. If you want to get ahead of them, you need to stay ahead of them, and unfortunately, he hasn't done that in this situation. But folks, an hour and 33 minutes left. I would like to just remind everyone, if you haven't already, please go check out our Discord in the link below the stream. You will find our Discord link as well as all the other important stuff about who we are at Sim Experience SA, our sponsors, and exactly what we do. Stanton Augustus here being chased now very close. Oh, and that is for the sitters a very big snap. He stays on the back of Augustus, but I mean the car control these drivers have. Is he going to go down the inside, round the outside maybe? Let's have a look. He pulls out right. They're going to go into the right-hander almost on equal footing. Late braking from the sitters, and he will get past. Augustus not fighting that, knowing it's not his race. And the sitters now chasing Pastori in P1. This is going to Augustus getting that early undercut, but not being able to make it last. We see the other Pastori brother there, and he will also be chasing Augustus and obviously chasing his own brother and the sitters for that P1, P2, and P3 spot. Dennis, exciting racing here.
Yes, I think I might have the moment coming up with Stanton. I think this is where he lost the lead to Nicola Pastori. I believe it was going into the final turn, which is Sunset. No, it wasn't. I just assumed it was because he was closing in on him. I presume it's this, somewhere around on this lap. He's very, very close. It might be into the next turn.
Could be into turn one. The turn one move.
Here it comes. He's to inside now.
And as they slow down, a beautiful move from Pastori, isn't that? I mean, absolutely textbook.
Perfectly done.
You know, Dennis, it's to make up time, but endurance is obviously, you don't always give serious commentary. I used to have this track on a set of course actually, but I figured out I can't drive it because I couldn't actually figure out where the track limits was into turn one. I couldn't quite figure out where the track limits was, so I ended up not driving it. But seeing these drivers drive it, they make it look very easy. Stanton being challenged here by the other Pastori. Bravo doesn't do it on brakes. Contact there. Augustus saying, I'm not letting free people past me, but he might have to in a second. Oh, Augustus, can you keep this position? We're on board with Giuseppe Pastor, and he's losing a lot of time here. We're getting a good run. Taps Augustus in front of him, pulls him to the inside, and this will be a textbook move. Exactly what the sitters did to Augustus as well. Augustus fought hard, but not going to happen today, is it, Dennis? Unfortunately for him.
It doesn't look like it, no. He'll have to just yield there by the looks of things.
And
already lost a bit of time. There's coming out of the final turn. I think Giuseppe just got on the throttle a lot quicker, had a nicer line. I think Stanton being on the tighter line didn't work out for him.
It unfortunately didn't work out for him. And now it calms down a bit. So I don't know if we can maybe have a look at the intervals between the drivers, but I'd love to see the intervals between those top three and see how much of a race there is to be had in these final bits.
Yes, so at the moment the intervals from P1 to P2 is 2.2 seconds, or just come down to 1.9 seconds as I'm speaking. P2 to P3 is 4.2, then it is 1.5 to P4, 48 seconds back to P5, so a large gap there, 2.9 back to 6th, 27 back to P7, 12 seconds back to P8, and then it's Andre Hildebrand is the next driver down. He's a lap down, and then it is 8.3 to Dirk Ace, 62 back to Julian Brains, and then it is the DNF drivers. Sorry, Harvey Coase is the lap down on Julian Brains, and then it is the last three drivers which have all got DNFs. So interesting choice tires. We have the top four drivers on the hards, then we have a medium, then three more drivers on hards, then a soft for Andre Hildebrand, interesting. Then the mediums for Dirk, mediums and hard combined for Julian Brains. He's gone hard on front, medium on the rear. Harvey Coast has gone medium on the front and soft on the rear. It's an interesting choice in tires.
Very interesting choice of tires. I don't know, Dennis, how how the tires work in rFactor 2. In terms of the soft tires, how much of a lifetime do you think they have?
Well, we saw Dirk on his first stint. He did about 35 minutes on the soft tires, and he said they were running in the reds at that point. So he actually stretched them out quite long, which was a lot longer than I thought he could.
I mean, I assume.
I think in the past we've seen drivers that a full tank in the BMW was roughly 50 minutes. And that tank of fuel, to do that on the mediums, you had to kind of look after the mediums. So hards were the way to go. Mediums, you had to sort of drive a little bit easier, manage your tires a bit. Hards, you could sort of push quite nicely. Softs, to do a full stint on soft, just wasn't possible. So I think that's maybe what he did. Went soft in the first stint, and now I'll drive mediums for the rest of the stints.
Which honestly is a lot braver than I think than what I would be able to accomplish. But well done to him. That's it. Ooh, Durkhe's touch gets a bit of a touch on the grass there. Very interesting. P5. Chazo hasn't stopped yet, and Deploy and Hildebrand not stopped yet either. Ace for 2 pit stops. Brains for 1 and Goos for 1 as well. Dennis, settling kind of into the race. As I said, this is a mini solo endurance. What do you think? You've obviously, you race in real life. What do you think's going through your head? At this point, if you're a driver, you don't necessarily have a lot of competition around you, open air in front of you. What do you think's going on in their heads?
The worst thing for a racing driver is being in a long race with no one around you, because then your mind tends to wander. And that's the one thing you want to avoid, is your mind wandering, because that's when the mistakes happen. You have to keep your focus up. That's why you'll see a lot of races when they're in open air, or maybe in the lead and they've got a massive lead, they'll keep pushing. The reason why they keep pushing is as soon as they back off, they'll lose focus. And their mind starts to wander. If you keep pushing, it keeps you on that edge, and then you make less mistakes. It's quite strange. It almost sounds contradictory. The harder you push, the less mistakes you can make. But it just keeps you closer to being in control.
No, exactly. I mean, obviously, barring overheating issues or whatnot, if you can push and keep your car in a good condition, then I think you're exactly correct. I think we can. If we look back and this is a bit of an F1 example I'm going to have to make. When we look back, as Alex going a bit off the road there, but the Audi's found his way back on. Doesn't look like there's any permanent damage. If you look at 2023, I think it was Spa. 2023 Spa in F1. You saw when Max Verstappen took the lead of that race. He just constantly kept growing the gap. Actively was pushing the gap further and further. My question is, do you think, let's say, Dennis, for Pastor, the 2 Pastor drivers, where there were P1 and P2, do you think for them it gets to the point, if you're running with someone like that you can back off a bit and kind of just drive together, or do you think there'll always be one pushing?
I think there'll always be one pushing. Even if they're not meant, even if there's an agreement. I mean, you see it in some of the top teams, let's say in Formula 1, since we're bringing up Formula 1. There might be a team order for the guys not to push. But it depends what goes through the mindset, because it is a team sport, but ultimately also the driver needs to advertise himself as a competent driver and a competitive driver. So if you're going to dangle the carrot in front of a driver of a possible win, even though there might be team orders, anything can happen. Even if the driver knows, if I go for this win and I get it, I'll be in trouble for disobeying team orders, but I'll be seen as a winner, which is what sells. Or you go for it and you get it all wrong, and you could lose your drive because now you've screwed it up for both team cars. So there's a lot that goes to the driver's head, but I think ultimately the driver always wants to win. If you're a racer at heart, you want to win.
I think you need to have that first, the hunger to win, because I think if you don't have that hunger, well, what do you have? But no, listen, all in all, I do have to say, I'm very impressed with the racing here. You know, we've seen some very clean racing. We've seen no big issues. So it's been a lot of fun. It has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, the cars, it's a bit spread out at the moment. Unfortunately, we had a few DNFs, which also didn't help. And I think when we have a full field, it's going to be quite exciting to watch. And I think the next round for the Nordschleife, that would be quite something.
And I mean, to be fair, the Nordschleife, that's something else. Our at Pambacity, our ACC team, our first ever endurance together was a Nordschleife for 24 hour, and that was something different. You know, that was a complete different experience. Even
I used to, sorry about it, I used to hate the track. I despised it. I just did not want to race it. And this is actually where I ended up joining up with the team that's currently now started this endurance series. So Stanton was racing in other series, and he invited myself to join. Back then it was a different team, and they were kind of sort of starting to sort of fall apart and not sure what direction they were going in, so they had a different name. So I was one of the members that was drafted in to try and sort of keep it going. And then they brought up the Nordschleife, and I was like, no, I don't really want to do that. It's a 24-hour race. There'll be 6 of us driving. I mean, that's, first of all, that's a lot of driving. Second of all, it's on a track that I'm not so keen on. But then I saw, wow, there's going to be a lot of drivers. It's quite a challenge. It's all different classes. Okay, it might just be fun just to try it. By the time I'd finished that race, I absolutely loved the circuit. I hated it at first because it's very difficult to master, first of all. It's not an easy track to learn. I always struggle with certain corners because they look very similar. If you don't do enough laps, and you have to do lots of laps there, and because the lap is so long, it takes forever to learn it. But once you do, it's such a fun track to learn, and especially driving it through the conditions that we did, you know, day and night cycle with the different weather conditions, with the rain coming. It was so much fun. I absolutely loved it. We didn't have a perfect race. We had an incident or two. We had to put for repair once or twice. But at the end of the day, we as a team managed to get to the end, which was the goal. And it was so fun doing it as a team effort. Mastering a track that you don't like and doing it for 24 hours with a team, that was what an experience.
I can think. It sounds incredibly amazing.
I highly recommend it to anyone.
Oh wow, okay. What we can also recommend to everyone is to come drive at Some Experience SA. Obviously, you know, we have our factors. Oh, as we see there, a yellow flag. Pastori just putting another lap on the Porsche, I think, of Ace. That is nothing big, no big issues. I think we can recommend everyone to come drive here at Some Experience SA as well. Obviously, we have our rFactor, we have a bit of ACC, we have a lot of future plans coming up that we're not allowed to talk about already, Dennis. Not allowed to talk about just yet, but no, all in all, I do have to say, endurances, obviously, you know, the Nordschleife, it's completely something else. You fall in love with the track, but just endurances as a whole as well, it just brings out something different, doesn't it?
I think it breaks that typical sim racing mentality. A lot of sim racing, it almost becomes too much of a game, and then you do the sprint race where you get your arms and elbows out a bit too much, because you know you can just hit the reset button and do another quick one in a few minutes time. Endurance racing takes it away, and it brings more of a realistic mentality of looking after yourself and the vehicle. You have to maintain your stamina, you have to maintain the condition of your vehicle, try and get the most out of it. So you tend to drive within yourself more like you would in real life. Because in real life, you also have the danger factor that you don't have in sim racing. You do to a certain degree, depending on your hardware. So, for example, if you drove in an aggressive motion rig and you had a really strong direct drive force feedback wheel, those can hurt you. So you can break your thumbs using those wheels because they give so much torque. If you're holding onto it when you hit an impact, it can definitely break your thumbs. But other than that, you know, there's not that many injuries you can get, so you tend to put that out of your mind. Real racing, injuries is something that you have to think about. Although you kind of train to put it out of your mind, don't think of it, because then otherwise it happens. But it is a reality, and even if you're not consciously thinking of it, it's in the back of your mind that this is real, you can get hurt.
You can indeed. Now you can indeed get it hurt, and when you get hurt, yeah, it's not fun, is it? Very quickly, I do have a small story to tell. I don't know if the guy's going to be happy with me when I tell this story, but actually, see, I'll pop up briefly. You know, you mentioned the how you fall in love with the Nordschleifer, Dennis.
Yes.
When we were done with our first endurance, that exact endurance I was now talking about, we actually had Mr. Mondrek Lawson, who is in chat. We crossed the line, and he said, "Damn it, can't I just do another lap because it's so fun?" And that was kind of echoed throughout the whole team. You know, talking about that specific track. Obviously, listen, don't get me wrong, Sebring's great, and Daytona's great, and all these tracks are great, but there's something about that track, Dennis, you know, about the Nordschleife. There's something so special and kind of so, you know, it brings you back to your racing roots to an extent. You know, you'll hate it when you start, and then by the end you'll be like, you know what, just give me one more lap.
I think
after 24-hour
I think it's a
endurance.
danger factor again, though, because it's a long track and it's so dangerous with those walls and things. I mean, for example, you look at Le Mans. Le Mans is also a very long track. It doesn't have the same danger factor. It's maybe got just as much historic value, but it doesn't have that thrill. When you master something that is dangerous, it gives you more excitement and reward for mastering it.
Exactly. No, exactly. And, you know, obviously, listen, Le Mans is obviously dangerous. You know, we've seen some of the accidents that have happened there. But I think it's, you know, it's not Nordschleife dangerous in terms of, you know, in Nordschleife, you would see people, you know, when it comes to the barriers, and you would see horrific accidents, you know, and with Le Mans, obviously, you've seen those accidents, unfortunately. But it's someone the other day said on Le Mans, it's kind of a lot more about top speed, you know, because of the back straights, you know, press your foot down and just go, do a few chicanes, and then you're basically there. Whereas with the Nordschleife, it's this kind of constant. I mean, you've driven there, you know, and I'm sure you can testify. It's this constant movement, right? You can't chill during the lap. There's no point at which you can really breathe or catch your breath. You might have the back straight before you hit the first carousel, but I mean that's about it. You know, the rest of the time you're constantly having to look around to prepare for the next apex. It's a different type of endurance. I think it's definitely, you know, the most mentally challenging endurance out of them all.
Yeah, I think it's, for that reason, it's the most rewarding to do it. I mean, I love endurance racing, and Le Mans is obviously a must-do if you do endurance racing, because it's probably the most famous. Nordschleife is one of the most famous as well. Probably less famous for endurance racing, even though it does do it. I think Le Mans is the most famous for endurance racing. Daytona also very well known for endurance racing. Sebring is a very well known endurance track. So there are a handful of very well known ones, but nothing competes with Nordschleife.
Nothing does. That said, what will be competing is the Citius, and he is slowly but surely, Dennis, catching up to Nicola Pistori in front. We've seen that gap slowly shrink, about a 10 for 2 each lap, I think it's about, but nothing very big. But the Citius definitely catching and definitely feeling on pace. You know, you can see his teammate up ahead, and you can see the opportunity to get past his teammates. It's, you know, once the Citius catches up, I think it's going to be a very interesting battle between these two.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any team orders, because ultimately there shouldn't be. This is a team championship, so whichever team car finishes ahead is the one that gets the points. Only one of those cars will score points per team. So it doesn't matter which one gets first and second. That's maybe just bragging rights. So that will be a personal thing for the driver. But whether there's any team instruction not to go for anything and potentially risk the victory, we don't know.
We do not know. Well, not yet, at least. We don't know yet. But I mean, we'll find out, I guess. Okay, settling in. 1 hour, just under 1 hour and 15 minutes remaining now. Time is quickly flying by. Already an hour and 15 minutes past. So only literally half the race left, Dennis.
Yep.
time has flown by, but I will be here, I think, just past the hour, or just as we tick down to the last hour here. What is the gap at the moment? I think it's 1.8 seconds between these two. We're looking in front of Lorenzo and we're looking behind Nicola, and you can see that gap. A bit of a bigger gap now. I wonder if Lorenzo
It's
might
just
have made a
growing,
mistake
yeah.
there. Yeah, it's grown very heavily. So either Lorenzo has made a mistake, or maybe Nicola said, "Okay, you've had your fun. I'll let you catch up. I'm just gonna quickly pull out a few seconds."
Yeah, it's now at 2.3 now. It's actually coming down again. 2.1 now, 2.2. So it's starting to now 1.9. So maybe just a small mistake there. And Lorenzo is now starting to regroup and maybe start to close again. Maybe he's pushing a bit hard, trying to close the gap. Or maybe it is all free at the moment, free to push.
I mean, I think it was a famous Mr. Dennis Mitchell that said you have to keep pushing. But no, listen, we can see that gap become smaller again. It would be quite ironic for me if Nicola is kind of just letting Lorenzo catch up, but I'm sure Lorenzo is pushing the car to its fullest and seeing what he can do. Looking further back down the field, nothing really much to report on battles, folks. Yeah, nothing really much to unfortunately report on battles. There's a small battle possibly between Deploy and Biekus, if Deploy can catch up there. Same between Gerike and Biekus as well, but nothing much unfortunately. Now we're in the quiet hours of the Endurance. And Chad, I'd love to hear from you guys, what you guys think and how you guys are doing. I need to go for 2 seconds then, so you can take up.
Alright, thanks. We'll have you back in a moment. In the meantime, we also have another DNF. Unfortunately, Julian Brains has had a DNF, so not sure what happened to Julian, but unfortunately he has suffered a DNF. I'll see if I can find what has happened. Just see if I can find him on the timings, and maybe he just had an issue with hardware, or maybe he's had to pull out for other reasons. I'm not sure if he had any damage or not. Just watching some footage in the background.
Mr. Dennis, I do apologize. I'm gonna have to go for 5 minutes real quick. I just need to pick up something from my front porch, but then I will be back and we'll continue taking on a minute.
Great, no problem. Cheers. Alright, so just watching Julian. I'm just seeing in the background here what he's doing. I'm trying to see exactly when it was that he retired. Okay, so it looks like he did pit, but I think his retirement was after the pit stop. Alright, I'm going to just jump to Julian for a bit and we can maybe just see what happened. Oh, it was almost, it was being passed here. Maybe something happened after this, because this is very close to the end where he does retire. As the race gets longer with these endurance races, you have a slide bar to rewind, and I think, oh, what happened there? Okay, he always went straight on there, some kind of failure or something, but I'm going to assume that something just didn't work the way it should. That was very strange. You know, Julian also has family and stuff, so maybe something happened with the little one. I'm not sure, but yeah, sorry to see him go, unfortunately. But that was definitely not any other issue other than, or certainly not a driver just doing something. That was very, very odd. But unfortunately, a lot of us are, well, fortunately, a lot of us are family men, so we have to navigate around the families. We all have kids and things, so that we have to do what we can with the time that we have. Julian's little one is quite young, so I think maybe that could have been a family call there. A shame with just over an hour to go, sort of hit the halfway mark and do half the race and then not be able to finish it is not the nicest. Alright, so at the moment we still have Nicola Pistori in the lead. Got a sparks coming off his car there. So top 4 drivers on hards, then we have a medium tyre, then 3 more hards, then a soft, then a medium and soft, and then the DNFs. Right, drivers getting past Harvey moving over. Harvey that's in the field is a very well decorated real world South African racer. He's won more Formula V championships than any other driver in South African history. Good to have drivers with real world experience driving in the sims. I think sometimes they just don't have the hardware and setup and they aren't able to replicate their real world success in the simulator. He definitely seems to struggle in the simulator. In real life he's very, very good. In the simulator he definitely struggles a lot more. I think maybe just doesn't have the feel that he would have in real life. He really wants to join in the next race for commentary. Yeah, sure. Would you not be racing in the next race? Next race is only next month, and next month on the 20th. In fact, let me get the schedule up for us so I can take this away quickly. Just to show everyone that our schedule, so this of course is Sebring. The next round is Nordschleife, which will be the 20th of October, which as we spoke about is a fantastic race to do endurance racing on. If you've never done an endurance race there, we highly recommend it. It is a challenge to finish it. It's just a very exciting track to drive once you are able to figure it out and keep the car on the road. It does also teach you how to drive and look after the car, so it teaches you very valuable lessons. If you're able to race there successfully, you definitely leave there a far superior driver than when you started. After that we head over to Daytona, which will seem like a very short track after Nordschleife. Also a fantastic circuit, a very well known endurance circuit from the American series, the IMSA series, so fantastic circuit to race on as well. That will be on the 24th of November. So if you're watching and you'd like to join, you can join us for the Nordschleife on the 20th of October. And you can join us for Daytona on the 24th of November. All you need to do is join the Discord. You can show your interest there, share your skins. We can then add it to the skin pack, which is then shared on the Steam Workshop. You can search for our skin pack on the Steam Workshop. And just search for Sim Experience Global and you'll see it and you can subscribe to it. Once skins are added, it just gets automatically updated. And then you can join the Discord to let us know that you want to sign up. You can actually officially sign up on simgrid.com. No, I used to hate Nords as well. It was the one track I refused to drive, and yet nowadays I love it. After doing that endurance race, it was just, yeah, what a change. It was something I absolutely hated to being something I absolutely love now. It's just a great track that you put a team effort in, you help learn to master the track that you hate, which is rewarding, but to be able to finish a 24-hour race there is also rewarding with all the challenges that comes with that. Oh, just wetting my throat a bit. Commentating for long races is definitely quite a challenge. So if you're familiar with our sprint races, I'm trying to commentate a little bit less and not be as overexcited and just sort of preserve the voice a bit more, especially since I'm also recovering from being sick. I was sick the past week, so not 100% just yet, so also have to consider that. But so far, pretty exciting race, considering we've done almost an hour and a half. We have 1.5 seconds effectively covering the two drivers, which is Nicola Pistori in first and Lorenzo de Certis in second.
And I see Rudy saying, hey, I might join you in commentary. Oh no, 2 more DNFs, what happened?
The one was Coffee Coast. I didn't even see what happened to that. Julian Brains was, I'm not sure if it was a hardware failure, but he went flat out into the final turn. He just went straight. So I know he's got kids, so maybe the little one was calling or something, or his wife was calling for his help. I'm not sure. Something obviously happened there. Coffee Coast, I'm not sure what happened to Carvey. I haven't yet searched for that.
Oh, shame. Well, they got so far, and just before the line, unfortunately, they couldn't quite finish it out. And the rest of the race, how is the Cetus doing? Is he still chasing Pistori?
He is. The gap is, I just commented on that, it was 1.7, it's now 1.5, so the gap is actually slowly closing, as we can see on screen.
Slowly but surely, and that is all that matters. Rudy saying I refuse to drive that track, referencing the Nordschleifer. There's no way I will race that track, maybe if I get $1 million. Rudy, we don't have $1 million, but we do have a seat here in the comments box just for you. That you can help us chat in. It's polarizing, Dennis, isn't it? The Nordschleifer, you know, as we were talking. Some people hate it, some people love it. It's a bit of a 50-50.
I think there's a lot of guys that love it because they are specialists there, and once you become a specialist there, you absolutely love it. Until you're a specialist, you absolutely hate it. It seems to be it's one or the other.
Okay. Dennis, 1 hour and 2 minutes remaining. You know, we thought some people were going to win. It is not final yet, is it? It's not final yet. Still have some time to go. Do you want to change your prediction at all, or are you sticking?
I'm gonna stick with, for now, with Giuseppe, just because. I'm gonna quickly just show a replay while we talk about that. This is unfortunately what happened to Harvey House. He did manage to find it, so he gets in the dirt a little bit there, gets offline there. I'm not sure if he now has dirt on his outside tires, but the car breaks away here. And it's weird because it breaks away on the exit of the corner. So that is just very, very strange where it broke away. So I can assume that that would be from the dirt, because he did get on the dirt just prior to that. So maybe that's what caused it.
Oh my soul. Oh my soul. I mean, this is just next level, isn't it? I mean, this is just flipping next level. Crashing like that, I would be destroyed, Dennis. Oh, it's a shame.
Yeah, after doing such a long stint to then
I would
end up with that, it's, yeah, it must be really, really frustrating.
I know. I would be heavily sad, I'm not gonna lie to you.
But also, it's not the easiest track to learn. It doesn't look as difficult as it is, but it is very bumpy, and the bumps are constantly unsettling the car. So you pretty much, especially if we were to, let's do an onboard with Nicola Pistori. Perhaps not that camera. Let me find another camera to show us. And then we can maybe just show you how much work it is to drive the car on the limit. Let me get there in a moment.
And sorry, we're having Rudy saying here, I had to retire, hit the wall because of the lag spikes I got, so yeah, and you better keep my seat warm. Yeah, the 20th of October would have been my father's birthday. Oh wow, 20th of October, that's a very special day for you, Rudy. I had to retire, hit the wall. I mean, that's rough as well, Dennis. You know, obviously sim racing, it has its issues, and one of them being connection issues. So if you hit a wall while, you know, because of the connection issues, that's never fun, is it?
Yeah, never. And rFactor is quite brutal with damage. Now, some sims less so than others. There's actually a sort of a hidden code in I guess in the gaming industry, which is still technically a game, where manufacturers don't want vehicles to be realistically modeled, and the damage model can only do certain things because they don't want their vehicles to be seen in that state. But rFactor, it doesn't always show the visual damage, but it gives the visual damage. So it's quite brutal. Sometimes a rub with the wall can totally destroy your car. Just the nature of how you hit it. It's simulating the damage, it just doesn't show it visually on the external side because of contracts with the manufacturers. So maybe just the rub of the wall, maybe it's pulled a steering rod or something like that, and the steering is completely out and now the car can't track straight. It's just suddenly goes from being a drivable car to being an undrivable car.
And I do have to say, sorry, I'm going back to your point on manufacturers not wanting to see their cars destroyed. I'm just check my facts here because I'm not 100% sure it's true. But everyone obviously knows BeamNG, and it's kind of this whole thing about it has the best crash physics. I don't think BeamNG has a singular licensed car.
Not one.
From any other
It's all fictional, yeah.
If someone could correct me on this, and I would appreciate it if you do. But as far as I know, it doesn't have a singular licensed car, and it's mostly because of that exact reason, where it is because the car manufacturers don't want you to see, their car kind of crumbled up in a bowl, because that's obviously bad for their publicity. And with that, I kind of said, and obviously you're looking at other sims as well that do damage, stuff like iRacing, ATC. You look at them, and as you said, Dennis, it's actually surprising how limited kind of the damage model is, because the manufacturers don't want people to see their car in pieces.
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, I understand it from a business point of view. It does make sense. You don't want your product to be seen to be what it isn't. You don't want people thinking your car is a write-off when it's a perfectly good car. And not everyone's going to drive it in that manner. So I guess it is a bad publicity, but in the same tone, if the car is being raced, it's the risk of racing, and I think anyone who watches racing knows that. And if you watch a race car that gets damaged, well, certainly me as a real world, ex-real world racer, I don't think, oh, that's a bad car, I won't ever buy that car because it's been damaged. It's just the last thing I think of.
I would probably say I would buy that car because it's damaged and it can still probably drive.
You get it for a discount.
Yeah, exactly. I do have to say, I'm obviously, okay, this is going to be a bit mean. But, if we're going on damage, when it comes to brands, I mean, look at Logan Sargent and Sergio Perez. They put their car more into a wall than they have actually raced it, and yet they're still driving. So surely if manufacturers at sim racing limits and say oh, we can't see our car damaged, surely you don't sign a driver in real life who's gonna crash.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that point doesn't make sense, but I'm just saying, if you're thinking sim racing, you're like, oh no, my car's crumpled up. If that happens in real life, surely you fire the guy immediately. Or am I missing something?
I think there's so many politics involved in real racing. It's actually quite scary when you get involved in the politics in racing. It's why some drivers just don't get fired, because it's not just about having the best driver and getting the best results. Unfortunately, that's not how racing really works. There's so many things happening behind the scenes. So, for example, in Formula One, if there's a driver, only a single driver from a single country. So at the moment, we've got Calapinto in Williams for Argentina. He's the only Argentinian driver in Formula One. That team that hosts him, which is Williams, will get paid for that because he is the first Argentinian driver in the series for the year. If a second one joins, they won't get that bonus for having the Argentinian driver. So in that tone, that's maybe why Perez has stayed on at Red Bull, because now he gets the bonus for being who he is and where he's from. Whereas then you get the British drivers, now you've got several British drivers, they don't get that bonus because there's multiple of them. So whoever was the first will get the bonus, their team will get the bonus. So that's just one particular rule, but there's so many other rules and loopholes and things where they have to cover. It's quite a headache, and I feel sorry for the organizers at times because they've created their own nightmare scenario where there's just so much happening. How do they police it all? And how do they get what people are perceiving as a fair result? And I think it takes a result like we've had now in Formula One, where things get so bad that they ultimately just can't do anything other than get rid of someone.
Which obviously, you never really want to get rid of someone, do you? Very quickly, we should mention there, we actually had Gay Dishi and Bierkas fighting, and then the two lead BMWs had to come in and ruin the battle for everyone else. As I say that, here we go again. Alex going up against Bierkas. Well, I mean, equal tires, equal length they've been driving. Audi versus an Aston Martin. Closest battle on the moment. Mr. Dennis, do we think the Audi can catch up and or overtake the Aston?
Their lap times have been very comparable. I think on the last lap it wasn't, but their fastest laps overall, a 2:03.4 for Alex and a 2:03.3 and a 2:02.5 for Carrot. So actually Carrot is a bit faster. I was looking at the driver below. So yeah, I think Carrot is a bit faster. The previous lap, obviously they were held up by the driver, so that's not relative. I think Carrot will then just slowly pull away from Alex.
Well, you say that, but they were fighting before that traffic. They were fighting before it, so I'm not quite sure what's... I don't know, maybe...
I think that was Carrot catching up and eventually made the pass, and then with the leaders coming by, it brought them back together again.
You do make a very good point. You do make a very, very good point there. I don't know, I guess we'll see. Maybe they continue racing. Here we are looking at Luciano from NXT Sim Racing. He is a total of 82 seconds, unfortunately, behind the leader. Only 40 away from Augustus. That gap has closed a bit. I think our closest gap is still the Sitters and Pastor. Because they, Dennis, are still running within 2 seconds of each other.
Yes, Giuseppe's actually fallen back to 8.5 seconds behind the battle for P2, so actually not helping my predictions much. Thanks, Giuseppe.
I think I might have gotten this prediction. I think I might have won this prediction for you. Now we put some bets on, and it looks like you might be wrong here. No, but seriously, Lorenzo wasn't showing this, this sort of pace earlier in the race, but now, the past 40 minutes, really putting it out of the bag, being able to keep with Pastor, and I think it's definitely assisted him. Being able to see the lead in front of him, knowing what to do, and as you know what to do, you guys can like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get more regular updates from the Series Experience SA channel. That was smooth. That was very smooth. I'm giving that to myself, Dennis. That was a very smooth transition.
Very good.
Into that hand. But okay, back markers now. This is... Is this Ace? Is it Hildebrand? Okay, so Hildebrand just being lapped here. Sorry, Mr. Hildebrand, but everything has a time. And it is now your time to be lapped. He gets out of the way very cordially. Thank you very much, Mr. Hildebrand. He will continue going on his charge. Dirk Hayes at the back of the field, P10. He's going to get points just because he finishes. So Dirk, just keep it on the road and see what you can do. Maybe even, Hildebrand makes a massive mistake. You can catch him. Who knows? Oh no, he can't actually because he's already a lap behind. Hey, Dirk, just keep it on the road. You've got this. Keep it on the road. You have got this. Top 10, all that's left in us, but it's been a decently fun race. And we still have 1 or 2 battles that need to be resolved.
Yes, I think the battle for 10th looks like Dirk has got this unless there's any issues further ahead. He's at a minimum 10th place, so he'll definitely get the points. I think to get further points, he's going to have a bit of luck on his side. Andre Hildebrand, I think the same. He's sort of in between at the moment as well. And then I think we start to get to where it gets exciting. So then you've got the Mornay battle. Mornay is 20 seconds back on Alex. Alex, on the other hand, is right with Carrot at the moment. They're both jumping into the pits now. So let's see who comes out of the pits first. We'll keep an eye on that. Then there's the gap to Luciano. He is 34 seconds shy of Stanton, so quite a gap. Stanton is 41 seconds shy of Giuseppe, so once again another gap. But then 9 seconds between Giuseppe and Lorenzo. And then, of course, the lead battle, which is still within 2 seconds. 1.8 seconds between Nicola and Lorenzo.
I would just like to say that gap between Augustus and Echazo was over 40 seconds, and it's now down to 30-ish. It's coming down. I don't know how quick it's coming down, Dennis, but that gap is coming down. Just as a note.
We'll keep an eye on it. It's 34.6 at the moment. Let's see in a lap or two time, how does that stack up? As we see the tires being changed in Alex's car.
We don't see the tires being changed, but we just know they are. He gets dropped, I presume fuel maybe being added?
Yes, or damage repaired. That would usually be the tires first, and then it's the fuel and damage.
It could be damage as well. But he will be aiming to come out ahead of Biekus in that pit stop. Andre Hildebrand in that Porsche. A bit too, I'm going to be honest and say the Porsche is a bit too colorful for me. I'm a guy who likes my cars, standard. I don't like too much of a mix. You'll see that reflected in the Panassi ACC liveries that we've done. You can definitely see, we try and not go complex. But no, obviously, it's all about keeping on track, and as we say keeping on track, these two come out of the pits, and I'll tell you what,
They swapped around.
You told me that Aston was going to eke away.
And yet here he is behind the Audi again.
I'm not keeping count at all. I would just like someone to please note down Dennis is now 0 for 2 on predictions. And here we say that Aston will be alongside with the Audi. Now it's all about top end speed. Who will get the better one? Who has the top end speed? I think it might be the Aston. Can the Audi outbrake him? That's going to be the question. They both lay on the brakes next to each other into the right hander. The Aston is looking for a switchback. Can it be done? Oh, very close to this. It is very close to this. Coming up is the left-hander. The Audi will have an advantage. Through here takes the advantage, but they're still next to each other, and this is proper racing, Dennis. I told you it's going to be proper racing. Don't mind my prediction comments. Fedike has to give out to Biekus, but I don't think this battle is over just yet.
Nice to see such close racing and hard racing with 47 minutes to go.
It's very fun. It is very fun, isn't it? And I do have to say as well, Dennis, I do have to say as well, with your ACC that you've been doing recently, that has been just as much fun in terms of close racing. I've had a lot of our drivers, that they'll come and they say, this is flipping close racing. But hey, that's what we like here at Some Experience to say. It's all about close racing. It's all about dicing and getting nice up and close. We will have the Audi of Fedike here. He's going to be chasing Biekus, but that Aston does have an amazing amount of legs on the straight and just ekes out the gap there in the braking zone. Rudy in chat saying the Porsche isn't that bad though, your setup just has to be spot on. And that is true, Dennis. I don't know, how much experience you have with driving the Porsche, but I mean, it's such a finicky car to set up.
It's difficult,
it has such a small window. Obviously, when it's set up properly, right, it is absolutely amazing. But to get it in that small window is just incredibly, incredibly tough.
And these two are still going here. It's amazing. Here you see the two different brands, very different configurations. So you've got the Aston Martin front engine rear wheel drive. You've got the Audi mid engine rear wheel drive. Very different the way they handle. The Audi is known for being more nimble. The Aston is known for being sort of a more gentler car, a heavier car, but more sort of a stable car. And you can see in the different sectors of the tracks where they are, gaining on each other. So they're yo-yoing back and forward.
Exactly. I mean, listen, it shows you, these cars are incredibly equal, and then they're set up so well. It doesn't matter what you're driving, you can be competitive. We always have the debate on BOP or BOP, as they say, and how much BOP do you need and stuff. But there's, every car can be competitive if it's done right.
You see now, once again, the Audi in this sector starts to catch up slightly. So the Aston was pulling away. Now the Audi's caught up slightly again. It's very interesting to see the different characteristics of the cars and how they, throughout the lap, equalize. The Porsche definitely being, in my opinion, one of the hardest cars to set up. Like you say, the window is extremely small. If you're not in the window, it's just a nightmare to drive it. But when it's right, and if you can drive it on a knife edge, it is a very, very rewarding car when you can get to that, but it's difficult to get to that.
Exactly. It is difficult to get to that, but I mean, if you get in that window, it is such a wonderful, wonderful car. I mean, one of our drivers, Mondre Clausen, you know him, Dennis.
Yes.
Or you would have heard of him at least. A wonderful guy. He swears by the Porsche. He started the McLaren, went to the Ferrari, and now he swears by the Porsche. And we've recently, gotten some help and setups, and I mean, he has never been quicker. And it always surprised me on that Porsche how quick the Porsche can be if it's in its window. But if it's out of his window, Dennis, I mean, it can unfortunately be a slow car if you don't have it exactly where it needs to be.
Now, which of the cars is in front of us now? We've got a Shiba car in front of us driving slow.
Hold on, that is... Wait. Something's happened here. Something has definitely happened here. Could that be Augusta? No, this isn't Augusta.
That would be Giuseppe, surely.
I don't know. Well, let's page through and have a look.
We have a driver change. That's what's thrown us off. Okay, Francesco has jumped in.
Okay, we've had a driver change. Wow, that's properly thrown us, hasn't it? A driver change with what, 44 minutes remaining. Driver's probably just saying, you know what?
Have some fun.
Have some fun. Yeah, go have some fun. Why not? Go have some fun. Finish it out strong. And Team Shiba definitely showing that they want to finish it out strong.
Just to clarify, this series started off as a team event where you had to have driver swaps. You had to have a minimum of 2 drivers. Now it's been changed into a slightly shorter series with longer races coming up, longer tracks like the Nordschleife. So we've made it a solo series, so you don't have to have a teammate. You cancel if you want to, and they've decided to do that, and they've caught us by surprise.
I've caught us by surprise. We were thoroughly confused there, as we see Salvatore Pastore Shiba saying Forza Francesco. It's an Italian team, chance.
I can't remember. I think yes.
By the amount of Forzas I've seen, and thinking about the first thing obviously coming to mind is Forza Ferrari. I'm just thinking, it would make sense. If we can get a confirmation of that in chat from the Pastore or Shiba team, I'd love to hear. Is it an Italian rooted team, or are we just being not so smart? That said, Mr. Dennis, I'm gonna have to give you bad news.
What's that?
Yeah, I was about to say. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go in 2 minutes. It's going to be my last 2 minutes with you in the comments box, and then you're going to have to take the remaining 40 minutes. Do you think you'll be able to handle it?
Yeah, sure, I can handle it.
I am pretty sure. It's been fun though. It's been such a fun race. It has been such a flipping fun race. Getting to know these drivers and their driving styles. I am very flipping excited to see what the future holds. But yeah, very, very flipping excited.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. It's the start of new things to come. I think we're going to have quite a few new series. Obviously, you guys are very well versed, I guess you could say, in ACC. So it would be nice to do some more ACC things. And I think ACC, we were very new at ACC. We were with our first ACC series. Obviously, we love rFactor. We love other sims. We don't just want to do one particular sim. So we'll keep going with rFactor. We'll do more with ACC, maybe other sims as well. So yeah, it'd be nice to have you guys involved, and glad to have you do your first bit for us in this series.
Thank you very much, Dennis. I appreciate it. Also, we should say there's actually just news been released about a sim that we might also be interested in. For those of you who haven't known, we will have a bigger reveal of a Assetto Corsa Evo tomorrow. Tomorrow they'll be opening up the Steam page, and you'll officially be able to see more of what exactly Assetto Corsa Evo is, and hopefully, Dennis, we'll be able to look at that and see what we can do as well.
Yeah, that's certainly a sim that's on our radar, and that we would like to, well, judging from what we are assuming it's going to be, it sounds like something that we would like to use. If it's a combination of the best of ACC and the best of AC, then I think it's going to be very popular.
exactly. It is going to be incredibly popular. But unfortunately, Mr. Dennis, you're going to have to be popular for the rest of the stream. Everyone give respect to Dennis. I cannot wait to return to the comms box. Thank you very much, Mr. Dennis. And I will see you at, well, sometime later.
Thanks very much for joining. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
I promise I will. You too.
Cheers, Andy. Bye. Bye. Right. Thank you very much, Xavier, for joining us. Awesome having him join us. Good to have a bit of extra commentary. Thank you very much for the comments there about the commentary. Thank you. We do our best. Hopefully lots more to come as well now that we've been teamed up with the Pandacity esports team or esports group. So keep your eyes out on the Discord for future announcements and events coming up. We're going to try and sort of spice things up a bit, make things a bit better, and get things a bit more active. As we've done with this championship, we've now dropped it down to make it a bit shorter, just so we can get a bit more guys involved. Because we used to have a lot more guys involved in rFactor. Some of the guys have sort of spread their wings a bit. So we're trying to get everyone to come back to rFactor. We don't want to give up on rFactor yet. We do. Well, I know. I truly love rFactor. It's my favorite sim to actually drive. I think the feel is just fantastic. I know it's not the most popular sim for most of the guys. ACC I think is the most popular at the moment, so we are covering that as well. So trying to cover a bit of everything for everyone. We'll do some other sims in the future as well. We're waiting for some updates from Automobilista 2 to maybe do something in that. But I think, yeah, if we can just get for now the two main ones, ACC and rFactor 2, get those things going nicely and get good crowds in both of those, I think it'll be good for everyone to have more enjoyable, exciting races. And as we've seen at the front here, we've had a lot of excitement at the front. Some really good battles going on the front here. And some surprises with Francesco jumping in. Good to have Francesco jumping in. I didn't even think Francesco was joining us, and then suddenly here he is. So, yeah, wonderful to have Francesco joining us. I'm just going to have a sip of my drink. I'll be back in a few moments. Alright, hello everyone, I'm back. Welcome to Tommy as well in the chat. Good to have you with us. So at the moment we have a Team Shiba 123. Kind of unheard of. What a brilliant performance by Team Shiba so far. In P1 we still have Nicola Pastori. In P2 Lorenzo de Clutelis. Keep pronouncing that wrong, I'm so sorry. Hopefully someone can explain to me how to pronounce your surname. Francesco Bernardi in third place. Catching up to, is that in front of you? Is that Monet Deploy? I believe that is Monet Deploy. So sixth place already being lapped. So fifth place is actually being lapped. The last driver on the lead lap is Stanton Augustus. Battle between Barrett and Alex has slowly expanded. The gap is now just over 4 seconds. I'd like to get the last little bit of a say in there, that at least I got one prediction right in that Barrett would slowly pull away from Alex. I didn't get the prediction right with Giuseppe Pastori taking the victory. But at least Francesco's in the car now, so hopefully Francesco can have a bit of fun. I haven't actually noticed, but Francesco is, I believe, on the medium tyre, so he's on the slightly softer tyre than the drivers around him. They're all on the hards. Lap times are looking quite good. He did 2:01.5 on the last lap. Drivers in first and second are 2:02s, 2:02.5 and 2:02.6. So currently we only have 10 drivers left. The other drivers have unfortunately all had DNF. So our top 10 drivers, well, the top 10 drivers will get points, and at the moment all the drivers will then end up in the points. Let's have a look at our mid-race results. So, oops, I'm on the wrong page. Currently we have Nicola Pistori in first place, Lorenzo de Tiotis in second place, Francesco Bernardi in third place, Stanton Augustus in fourth place, Luciano Chago in fifth place, Monet Deploy in sixth place, Gerrit Bierke seventh, Alex Kadeki in 8th, Andre Hildebrandt in 9th, and Dirk Ace in 10th. They will all be scoring points tonight. And then unfortunately the drivers with DNFs that won't be scoring points, Harvey Goos in 11th, Julian Brains 12th, Rian van der Westhuizen in 13th, Rudy Graham 14th, and Hilton Nixon in 15th. Hopefully you guys can't hear my kids screaming in the background. Just playing nicely. Maybe a bit too nicely. So Dirk, this is Dirk's first race with us, so welcome to Dirk, and fantastic result if you can do your first race and just bring it home to get some points. It's not all about just jumping in and straight away winning, at least you're learning. And Dirk is learning and he is improving, so that is great to see. Of course, the racing is open, all are welcome, so if you want to join, you can just hit the like and subscribe button. If you're enjoying the video, if you want to be a part of the racing, you can join our Discord, come find out all the information you need there. And if you want to sign up, you can always head over to simgrid.com, search for Sim Experience SA as the community, and then you can join the community or follow the community as they say there. And then you can sign up for any of the series we have there. We have the rFactor series. We do rFactor fun races as well. Just one-off fun races, which are usually on a Wednesday night. We do ACC series as well. We also do other series, which we'll do fun races on. But at the moment, those are the only three that we have. We've got some rFactor fun races, the rFactor Endurance, and the ACC GT3 series. You guys seem to be enjoying it, so I'm glad you're enjoying it. Right, Luciano having a good drive as well in 5th place at the moment. So hopefully for the next round, which will be the Nordschleife, we can have a larger field. So there were some drivers that weren't able to make it today, so hopefully they can make it for the next one. That is a very big race. I think it is an important one for the guys. It would be nice if all the team drivers could make it and drive solo. Perhaps for that event we could even modify the skins, give each individual driver their own car. We just need to change the numbers on the car and then that'll be fine. So if the drivers would like that, we could do that. Otherwise they're welcome to drive the same car. So for example, here we have NXT Sim Racing 1. They have 2 drivers. They could both drive the same car, or we could give them each slightly different numbers. One can keep the existing, one can get a new one. And whoever finishes first gets the team points. And then it would be nice to have all the other teams join again with both their drivers, and then we should have a really good field. I think around the Nordschleife that would be quite exciting to watch. That certainly will be a very, very different race different mentality to racing there than it is to racing here. It's full. I actually misread your comment. I thought he had a problem with his fuel. He was eating too much fuel. In other words, maybe his foot is too heavy. But he's saying he just ate. Yes, that's a good excuse. Can we use that excuse for the guys that are further down? Can I use that excuse when I don't win races? I'll just say, oh, I've just ate, I'm full. Yeah, Francesco's doing great. Good to see him in the race. Got quite a healthy gap over Stanton Augustus of 55 seconds, so he's safe. The gap at the front is still pretty consistent, 1.3 seconds. So that's maintained roughly 1.3 for probably the last 10 minutes or so. So last half hour of the race, we're into it, so we're 28 minutes to go. Right, looks like the weather has stayed away. It seems like it's not as dark as it was, so I don't think we'll have any more rain. It looks like it's a little bit lighter. It is getting later in the afternoon there, so I think the time might slowly start to get a bit darker. I don't think we'll get a sunset, but it might get a bit darker. But I think the rain-wise, we've beaten the rain and we don't have any issues with the rain. It was quite nice to have a bit of a sprinkle of rain. I think that probably got some of the guys a bit nervous, maybe expected that it might come down a bit harder, but yeah, it's been good. It stayed away long enough for everyone to stay on slicks. No wet tires were used. As we have Monet Deployer currently in the pits. Is he in the pits? Oh, he is in already. Alright, let's wait and see. Is he... I guess this is his final stint. He'll probably come out on the medium tire, I would assume. We'll keep an eye on that. Currently in 8th place, so some good points to be had here for Monet. So, Gert Perkins has started last, currently in 6th place. Once again, good points all for him at least. Bit of bad luck not being able to get some qualifying laps in. I think if he had qualified, he might have been further up in the field. A place or two more maybe. So lots of BMWs in the field, only 2 Aston Martins, 1 unfortunately retired, only 1 Audi, 3 Porsches and 1 McLaren. Yeah, Tommy, your cars are really nice. They're also really fast. Which I think a fast car is automatically a nice car. Renz has actually brought the gap down ever so slightly to Nicola. It's now down to a second, or now it's gone to 1.1 as I've brought it up. So maybe I just said the last sector was probably just a little bit better. Looks like he's getting a bit of slide on there, so struggling a little bit with maybe with tyre wear. Probably getting close to a pit stop, so I'm thinking maybe they'll go for soft tyres for their final stint. Oh, look at the slide. Perhaps we should go for a bit of an onboard just so we can see external versus onboard and just see how much he's fighting the car. Now watch the steering input, you can see how much, certainly in the last couple of corners, he's fighting it a lot on the exit. A lot of oversteer. There we go, oversteer, snap, catches it. he's definitely pushing hard. So the gap's still 1.2, so it's kind of gone back to 1.2. Trying really hard to keep the car on the road, fighting the steering a lot. So for people that are new to watching, when it comes to sim racing, you are driving like you drive a real car. You're fighting the wheel quite a lot. Those micro little movements that you make all the difference. Gap is actually slightly gone up. It's 1.3, 1.36. Yes, DRS would be handy right now. I think Lorenzo is wishing he had DRS. Nicola's probably very thankful that he doesn't. About 22 minutes to go. The gap between Alex and Gerrit is now 5.8 seconds. Now just hit 6 seconds. So slowly getting bigger and bigger. But Alex has done a superb job. Currently in 7th place. We see one of the cars heading into the pits. That I believe is Dirk Ace. It'll be his final stop, so I'm pretty sure he'll come out on the soft tires. Right, in he goes for his tire change and fuel. Oh, he missed his stop. By quite a long way. You have to be careful that if you reverse too much, you also get an instant black flag. Gap at the front is down to 0.6 of a second now. So Lorenzo is really on Nicola's tail. He's definitely not giving up. I was saying that the rain is definitely gone, but it's starting to look a bit dark again. So I don't know, maybe there is a bit of weather lurking, we don't know. It still looks a bit lighter than it did when it rained earlier, but it seems like it's starting to darken a bit. And maybe it's my imagination, but definitely looking a little bit of a concern. Track is definitely looking darker. The tarmac itself is just looking darker. The gap has grown again, so I don't know if it's just Nicola playing with Lorenzo or making mistakes maybe, but the gap seems to drop a little bit and then he'll sort of pull away slightly again. Maybe he's just teasing Lorenzo a bit. I find it very strange for a track that has got such famous heritage behind it, but so many of the corners don't have names. I know a lot of the American tracks generally don't have names. For some reason they don't name all their corners. We do have a bit more rain. There we go, there's a bit of rain. Wow. That's a surprise. So the rain is back. Oh, I don't think it'll be heavy. It doesn't look like it's going to be heavy. Probably just a few light spots just till the end. But I guess it's not what the guys want to be seeing. It just puts a little bit of doubt in their mind how much they can push the tyres, especially worn tyres. If you're driving on worn tyres and the rain starts to come down, it definitely makes you question everything a bit more. And you tend to be a bit more cautious, and sometimes just being that little bit more cautious ends up causing you a bit of problems. See the wiper blades all going now on the cars. Drivers are still taking the standard racing line, so I don't think it's affected grip yet. I think it takes a lap or two for the grip to sort of drop a little bit, but it takes lots and lots of laps at this sort of rate for it to make you consider tyres. It's almost looking like it stopped again. It's so light. The wipers are still going, but you don't really see it, so it's obviously very, very light. Hardy is still 6 seconds behind Gerrit Pekers. I don't know if the Audi is four-wheel drive. I know in real life you get a four-wheel drive Audi, but I'm not sure that the GT3 one is. As far as I know, the R8 is not. Certainly the GT3 version. As far as I know, it is rear-wheel drive. If it was four-wheel drive, I'm pretty sure it would benefit in these conditions. Had a rather large slide there. From that shot, it looks like the rain is actually starting to come down a bit harder now. Can we see it from the onboard? You certainly can see it from that camera there with the rain falling. I don't really see it so much on the onboard. And we can see the wipers going, but we don't see the rain actually falling. So 15 minutes left to go. 2 hours, 15 minutes, done and dusted. Nice to see Vortex Motorsport having a good race. Hopefully we'll see more of them. I know We were going to see possibly Yannick driving in one of their cars as well. I think hopefully the next round Yannick will join. So we're missing you, Yannick. Hopefully you come back strong for the next round. I know you've not been well, so all the best to you and your health. And we're missing all the other RS drivers as well, so it'd be nice to have all the RS drivers come back with a vengeance at the Nordschleife. It'd be nice to have a full contingency of all the drivers, all the RS drivers, all the Shibba drivers, all the NXT drivers, have everyone come back, all the RR Racing, everyone. It'd be nice to have everyone come back. Possibly a few new drivers as well. We might have IBF USA joining us for the next round. That would be nice. I'm not sure if it'll just be one car, possibly a second car even. That would be great. Full Throttle would be nice to have their second driver join as well. Maybe Jean-Andre joins. As we are seeing the Audi taking to the field, having a great race at the moment. The gap at the front is 1.1 seconds. Just seeing who else is available to chat. The drivers that are driving, the top 3 drivers, if they're available, I know they are all foreign, so if they would like to join for the interviews afterwards, they can just join the room above me. It's this interview waiting room. When the race is over, you can join there. I'll drag you in. If you don't want to join, no problem. If we don't have the top 2 drivers joining, then I will just speak on your behalf and just say congratulations to everyone. But at the moment, it's looking very, very wet, and it's getting a lot wetter than I was expecting at this time of the race. The track is definitely getting darker, and the darker it gets, that means the less grip there is, because it's more moisture on the surface. For some reason I can't get the transition to work to show you the next scene. Not sure why, but I've lost control to change the scenes. Let's see if this works. There we go, we're allowing this. That's one way of getting it to work. And you can see what it looks like in these conditions. The rain is not that heavy, but it's definitely falling. 10 minutes left to go. It's the last thing you want is the rain coming down and ruining your race. 1.2 seconds between P1 and P2. I'm sure the weather is the last thing they want to be seeing changing right now. Right, so looking back through the field, we have Nicola Pistori in first, we have Lorenzo I really need to figure out how to say your surname, Lorenzo de Curtis. And then we have Francesco Bernardi in third place. We have Stanton Augustus in fourth place. So solid fourth place at the moment. Sorry, I looked up and I saw his gear was in fifth gear, so I almost said fifth place. He's rounding the final turn, which is Sunset. In sixth place we have Luciano Bishazo. Then we have Gerrit Bierkes in sixth place. A great race from Gerrit to come from the back of the field to get some solid points. I think that will move him up quite a lot in the championship, so that's actually going to do his championship standings quite good. Even though he doesn't get a higher position, he will move up. I think he was tied on 30 points with someone else, so that should jump him up a little bit. Then we have Alex. Great result for Alex in seventh place. Looks like the rain has now stopped. And Monet, well, there I said stop with there, it's raining, and that's that end of the track. I guess the cloud is moving on there. The cloud's looking a little bit darker again, so maybe it's just a different part of the track. The car is looking a lot wetter as well. Anyway, Monet Deploy in 8th place, great result for Monet. Andre Hildebrandt will bring up 9th place, so nice points, 2 points for Andre, so great for the team. And Dirk Ace will get a point for 10th place on his first race. Great result for Dirk. Certainly this part of the track there's a lot more rain. Unless it's just that camera shot, but you can see the rain falling there. Standing getting past Andre Hildebrandt there. So 6 and a bit minutes to go, just over 6.5 minutes to go. Been quite an interesting race so far. Quite a nice battle that was at the front between the Pistori brothers, Lorenzo, and also Francesco taking part in sharing part there with Giuseppe. So Francesco currently in third place. Got to do the final stint. Unfortunately, it wasn't all clear sunny skies. He got to do a little bit of rain, so maybe was expecting to be able to push all the way to the end and have a nice drive, and the rain maybe gave him a bit of a heart attack. So Gerrit Bierkes coming up to Dirk Ace. I see Dirk actually has his headlights on. So it definitely must be getting a bit darker then. I think he's the first car to have his headlights on. Ooh, running very, very wide there, onto the dirt slightly. And Gerrit actually followed him there. I don't think any of the other drivers have their headlights on. Let's just have a quick look at Andre. I don't think his are on. Maybe also has his on. Looks like Gerrit's headlights are now also on. Maybe it's just that time of the night where it's starting to get dark enough that the drivers are putting the headlights on. Ooh, Dirk almost lost it there. did actually lose it slightly there, manages to stay on track. That was close. So 4 minutes left to go, the final 4 minutes of the race. We have a bit of rain, we have the night starting to set in. Kids are going to bed now, so they were moaning and screaming in the background there. They're obviously not in the mood to go to sleep. So 3 minutes left to go. Gap at the front is still 1.2 seconds, so that gap just maintained at 1.2 seconds. I'm pretty sure Nicola is just controlling the gap. The lap times are very, very much identical between first and second, lap after lap. And third place as well, also very, very close. The last lap, we had the leader on 2023, second place 2023, third place 2023. So the two, and now again a 2023, 2022. Slightly bigger gap back now to third. Let's see if Francesco gets another 2023. Sorry, 2023, because we had a 202.396 last lap for Nicola, a 202.292 for Lorenzo, a 202.348 was the last lap for Francesco, but he is quite a long way back, so he's only now crossing the lap. Crossing the checkered line, I should say, for the lap. And he does a 2.27, so slightly slower lap there for Francesco. We have a yellow flag. Who might that be for? It was very brief, so someone I think just dipped a wheel in the sand. So last lap, I would assume. Mind you, they are in the final sector, so it won't be the final sector. Then they will start the final lap. So Nicola, I guess they could slow down and finish the race, but I don't think they will. 40 seconds to go is a long way to wait, and they'd come under threat for Francesco. Alright, so Nicola will now be starting the final lap. So Nicola on his final lap, Lorenzo on his final lap. Francesco is quite a long way back. I think we're only going to see the top 4 drivers finish on the same lap. Stanton Augustus is 111 seconds back from the leader, but he is on the final lap, the same lap as the leaders. Time is now officially finished. nice to see this battle go all the way to the end. Actually down to 1.1 now. I think the wipers have stopped, so there's no more drizzle, no more rain. At least their final lap they can not worry about the rain. I'm pretty sure the track will dry up fairly quickly after the rain had stopped. Certainly looks a bit lighter, so I think it has started to dry a bit quicker. Right, so it'll be the final turn. Nicola Pistori heading into the final turn, which is Sunset. To take round 4 race victory for Team Shiba 1. So Team Shiba 1 will take race victory from Team Shiba 1 in second place. So Team Shiba 2 will get third place. Where is everyone else on the lap? Stanton is there. Okay, so let's see, maybe we can find the other drivers and see where everyone is. Well, actually, there's a bit of rain there still. Maybe just on that part of the track. I guess as the cloud is blowing over, it's affecting certain parts. It didn't seem like it when we were on board the roof of the Shiba car. But let's have a look at drivers. We're waiting for Francesco to come around. He's actually right up behind Monet Deploy at the moment. So Monet and Luciano then crosses the line, then Monet, Alex. Great finish for all the drivers, and well done to all the drivers that are able to finish the race. It's always a challenge finishing the race. I think that's the main goal is to finish. The second goal is to finish with the best possible result. P1, P2, P3. Well done to Team Shiba. Absolutely brilliant. If any of you guys are available for interviews, you can jump into the room above me. If not, I will just have a quick word to say goodbye to everyone. But in the meantime, I'm going to then just jump to an ad break and we'll be back shortly. All right, welcome back, everybody. This, of course, brings us to the completion of the SEBRING round. This, of course, is round 4 of our championship. I have the wrong pages that I'm showing you. But this, of course, is the interviews. We don't have our interviewees with us, unfortunately. If they are available, they are still welcome to join. I don't yet see them. But of course, it was a clean sweep for the SEG drivers. Team SEG getting first place, second place, and third place. Our third place team actually doing a driver swap. So nice to see a bit of a driver swap where Giuseppe Bastori handing over controls and reins to Francesco Bernardi, taking third place overall. Nicola Pastori taking first place overall, and Lorenzo de Curtis taking second place overall. So congratulations to the Team SEG drivers. Unfortunately, they're not here. I know they are foreigners. That's maybe why they are not joining us for any commentary. But thank you very much for attending. It really, really is an honor to have you guys racing with us. And thank you very much to everyone who attended. I'm just going to say thank you very much to everyone. And remember to hit the like and subscribe and to join us for the next round. Next round, which will be on the 20th, which will be for the Nordschleife. So that'll be the 20th of October. And the final round will then be for Daytona, the 24th of November. So remember to join us for that one. And hopefully you can sign up and come join us. If you haven't joined yet and you want to join, you're still welcome to join for the last 2 rounds. It'd be great to have more guys joining us. And for the teams that take part, you're welcome to bring all your drivers. We can create new skins. We can give you each different numbers of the same skin. That way you still compete for the team. It'd be great to have all of you guys filling the field. It'd be really, really wonderful. So until the next round, thank you very much to everyone. Remember to hit the like and subscribe. To join us on the Discord. If you haven't joined, the link is in the description. And thank you, of course, to our new partner, Pendacity. Wonderful to have them coming on board. Thank you to having extra commentary from Xavier today. Really, really nice to have extra commentary. I think that made it a lot easier for me. My voice is struggling, even though I'm not recovered. And it's a shorter race. It's just very, very difficult to survive. But thank you very much to everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And we'll catch you all at the next one.